Welcome again to Explore Protech YouTube channel here with your host, Dr. Meiya. Again, more conversation about building capacity, building ability to understand how financially we can build our organizations. If you are new to this channel, we welcome you. You came to the right place, the entrepreneurial heaven where entrepreneurs should be hanging around. I'm Dr. Meiya, your host here at Money Magnet. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do yourself a favor, subscribe. And while you're subscribing, do also activate your notifications so that when we have new material, new videos, and new stuff to share, you are then notified. And remember to comment on this video so that we create a conversation. Today, what I want us to talk about is customer value. As one of my peers will say, Christine, if you're not having customers, you're just having an expensive hobby. So today, let's understand this concept of customer value, because it's customer value that to a certain degree validates the existence of our businesses. Now, simply put, it's really the perception of what you offer to a customer against the possible alternatives that it could have otherwise considered. Now, you really realize that when you say it's a perception of what you offer, this is either a product or service that you are creating to customers, and they are prepared to part with their end dollar for this offer in opposition to what they could have gone as an alternative. And really, what the value or what it is to talk about customer value, it's what is it that is a perceived customer benefit less the total customer cost. So let's look at it again. From the customer benefits point of view, the key word here is a perception. Now, it's very important to pause right there and realize that when you're saying perceived, this juxtaposed to price, because price, which in the end it's a function of revenue or sales, it's also a perception of value on offer. So there's very clear correlation or relationship between perceived customer benefits and what customers are prepared to pay for in order to generate revenue for you as an entrepreneur vis-a-vis the total customer cost. What is it that you have to part with in order to realize this benefits in terms of revenue from the customer after you have invested? Now, maybe just honing on what constitutes these perceived customer benefits. Depending on whether you're offering a product or a service, but generally, this will speak to the quality of the service or product that you on offer, as opposed to what the alternatives will be, the popularity of the service that you're offering or product that you have to the customer, as opposed to where they could have gone. Accessibility, the ease of getting to this product and or service. I mean, if it's a physical product and you're shipping abroad, how easier, what are the pains that your customers need to go through to access what you're providing? And this speaks to the next one, the convenience. Is the product that you're offering and service providing a relatively better convenient acquisition as opposed to going to the alternative, and the longevity of this product and service? And I mean, longevity can be very subjective, dependent on the service and the benefits beyond offering this service. But really, what you want to do, or what you want to observe as entrepreneurs, is that the perceived customer benefit should primarily or ideally outstrip the total customer cost. So we want to make sure that there is more we get and we give as far as benefits are concerned, because this will then be realized from the customer point of view as their willingness to part with their hard-earned dollar to get our product or service vis-a-vis the cost that you need to invest in rendering that product and or service. And when we can get the balance right of the two, then we'll have indeed created a customer value, which is a perceived customer benefit, the B less total customer cost. Now, let's look at what are the 4 types mainly of what customer value is. The first one is a psychological value. And this, it doesn't matter whether it's a product or a service, there is some psychological value and attachment to the product or service that you're rendering. And as we said, in relation to what the alternatives could have been. And the second one is, what is the social value of this offer that the customer is willing to part with? And remember, as I've said, this must also be juxtaposed and always be linked to the total cost of your investment for that value. And thirdly, functional value. I mean, this simply put means is what on offer and the customer is willing to pay the dollar for doing what it's going to be doing, delivering on what it's going to be delivering. In fact, this is where as an entrepreneur might want to go a step further and say, what is your guarantee to the customer to further enhance and tilt the scale to increasing the perceived customer value? And finally becomes the monetary value. When all these 4 types of values are put together, they've got the likelihood to increase the customer value that you're getting from your customers. And maybe what is also important for us as entrepreneurs and business people to determine and understand the value of utility of the value of the services and products that we're offering. So, in closing, what are we saying? From you as an entrepreneur in a business, from the perspective of a business person, one, we need to realize that value is created when the company earns excess return on capital. And we've spoken a lot about capital in the past. We can talk about it later, but you need the excess return. That's one of the steps of creating value. Secondly, that return should exceed the initial capital and investment. And within initial capital and investment, we're already encapsulating the cost. And finally, value, it's not a destination. It is a business journey. You need to understand how your product or service move and it touches the customer along various touch points, and all the touch points make sure that you do really create value. It is your finance doctor. I hope you enjoyed the conversation about customer value. If you haven't subscribed, as I've said, please subscribe to the channel. If you need to have a conversation with me, please click in any of the links below and we can have a conversation.